So next up is Lana Burgess, who is one of the founders of Brighton Digital Women, and she's going to be talking to us about diversity in digital, why it's important and how we can achieve it. So thank you very much, Lana.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Lana Burgess. I'm one of the founders of Brighton Digital Women. We are a non-profit company limited by guarantee that aims to make digital more diverse by giving women public speaking opportunities, the opportunity to network, and the opportunity to have work published on our blog. I'll be talking to you today about why diversity in digital is important, the kind of scale of the problem as it is at the moment, and how we're looking to address it. So, we started in 2015 as a really informal meetup. Basically, it was born via Twitter. Rachel Finch, who at the time was a lone digital marketer working on an in-house team, really wanted to connect with sort of fellow women working in SEO and some of the more kind of technical areas of digital, because her experience was a lot of the events that she went to had kind of mainly male speakers and quite male dominated. She didn't always feel that she could get her voice heard and have the kind of meaningful conversations that she wanted to at those events. So she was just calling out to people on Twitter saying, is anyone else interested in starting an SEO meetup that's a bit more women-led? And I saw this retweeted, and Allegra also saw this retweeted. We'd never met Rachel, but we agreed to go and meet her in a pub in Brighton and sort of had a chat, decided that really there was kind of possibly an audience for these kind of meetups. So we started meeting up more regularly, and slowly but surely kind of a community organically grew around that. So we were created to make digital more diverse. We hold free monthly women-led meetups, and became a non-profit in 2017. The reason that we always describe ourselves as women-led as opposed to women-only is we don't just want to be preaching to the converted. Like, all of our events are completely inclusive. Anyone of any gender can come along. It's just that they aim to kind of flip the trend of male-dominated events on its head, so to create a space where women feel really comfortable and confident networking and sharing their experiences. I've put together some stats on the kind of diversity problem in digital. I can send these slides around afterwards so that you can kind of have a look at all of these sources. But basically, we're at a point where only 17% of employees in the tech sector are female. Part of this is a pipeline problem. Only 35% of girls are studying STEM subjects beyond GCSE, so science, technology, engineering and maths. 25% of STEM graduates are female. And unfortunately, not only are there fewer women going into sort of the technical and digital industries, but they're more likely to leave within a year than men are. So 45% of women entering STEM are more likely to leave within a year than men. As well as being a pipeline problem, one of the reasons for the lack of diversity is that some of these company cultures become a little bit sexist, although it's not necessarily in an overt way, but there can be kind of unconscious biases at play. So a Guardian survey found that 73% of people feel that the tech industry is sexist. So one of the other reasons that we came together as a community is to address the gender pay gap. So the brilliant news is that on the whole, across all sectors in the UK, the gender pay gap is falling. It still exists, but it is falling. At the moment, it's only 8.6%. But that gap is actually a bit bigger in some kind of technical and creative roles within digital. So for advertising account managers and creative directors, women are paid 21.1% less. IT and telecommunications professionals, women are still being paid 12.5% less than men, and in design and development, women are paid 18% less than men. So these are figures from the Office for National Statistics that were produced in 2018. If you go and have a look, you can look at not only the analysis, but you can dive into all of the raw data. So I know like sometimes these kind of figures are quite controversial, but they make all of the data available if anyone does want to kind of do some digging around. And then another thing that we are very aware of and discuss as a community is the fact that there is still maternity discrimination that happens in the UK. These figures are not specific to the digital sector. These are figures that are relevant to all industries, put together by the Department for Business, Innovation and Skills and the Equality for Human Rights Commission. It's reported that 11% of mothers were either dismissed or made redundant or treated so poorly that they felt that they had to leave their job while they were pregnant or soon after becoming a mother. 1 in 5 mothers experienced harassment or negative comments related to pregnancy or flexible working, and 10% of mothers said that their employer discouraged them from attending antenatal appointments. And then one of the really tricky things about diversity is that unless it's kind of addressed head on, it can become quite self-perpetuating. So there was a study, it's a US study, but I think the findings are probably fairly universal, that hiring managers tend to recruit people who are culturally similar to them. So this is this kind of unconscious bias at play. Obviously, this is not true for all companies, and some hiring managers may be super aware of not simply hiring people who are like them, but research shows it is a kind of human tendency to hire people similar to yourself. So male hiring managers may be more likely to hire other men. And then when you have a company or a culture that is quite male dominated, even if there is no overt sexism, it can be that sort of macho culture develops. Women may feel less welcome, more isolated, and find it harder to progress. And that can often just simply be things that people aren't thinking about, but ways that friendships are formed and where discussions about promotions happen, and whether those discussions are kind of happening in groups or in spaces that are kind of excluding women in some way. So there's research from Bentley University that suggests that women in tech are 21% less likely to be promoted than a male co-worker at the same level. So perhaps these kind of cultural issues within companies are one of the reasons for that. So why should we care about these issues? Is it actually a problem for businesses? Well, research suggests that it is. Gender diverse research and development teams in tech have actually been found to be more innovative and to create better creative outcomes. So diverse teams are good for business. And then there was also some research in the US that found that women-led companies actually far outperformed companies run by men. Obviously, this sort of study, it's correlation, it's not necessarily causation. I'm sure there's loads of other factors at play in that. Perhaps the fact that they were women-led companies meant that they were progressive in many, many other ways. But I just thought that was interesting anyway. The other thing is a lot of us kind of working in marketing and startup led businesses trying to market a product to possibly a gender balanced audience. The teams working on those accounts will benefit from having a similar gender balance. So yeah, if you're trying to sell something to an audience, it helps that your team looks a bit like that audience too. So, how are we then trying to change this? Well, the answer is we can't do it all at once. We're just trying to really bring people together through the power of community and to make small but significant changes to work towards a more gender diverse digital sector. So the way that we're doing that is creating these women-led meetups that are free to attend, that give people the opportunity to share their professional experience, share their skills, share their knowledge, and to seek support, inspiration and guidance. So to share experiences around maternity discrimination or ways that they might have found it hard to progress at work, and to give each other guidance and to kind of offer the opportunity to kind of learn from each other. We also really try to encourage people to take up more public speaking opportunities. I'm just going to grab a bit of water. Yeah, I think one of the things with the lack of women speaking at events, it's often really not that there's any kind of overt sexism going on in conference organisers not inviting enough women along to events. It's often actually that not enough women are volunteering. So we provide opportunities to come and speak. Corinne's come and spoken at one of our events before, and lots of people who speak at our events then kind of go on to present at Brighton SEO and kind of local and national conferences, which is really brilliant. We also share jobs and freelance opportunities. We have a sort of closed Facebook group, so we sort of share opportunities that are going on at each other's companies, and because we offer people the chance to grow their network, it means that when an opportunity does come up, people have all of these talented women that they've met through our events that they can call on to recommend or to refer into those roles. So in that way, we're hoping to help women progress in their careers and to take up kind of more leadership roles in digital in Brighton through the power of community. So we don't charge anything for our events. They're free, they're accessible. The way that we're able to do that is through sponsorship. So we offer local businesses the opportunity to show their commitment to making digital more diverse by sponsoring our events and our website. So we're sponsored by Pragmatic, who are a Brighton-based WordPress development agency. Site Visibility, who are a great digital marketing agency in Brighton as well. Eagle Labs Brighton provides our venues, which is really, really helpful. And Melrose Accountants do our accounts for free, which is super helpful as well. So yeah, we're always on the lookout for new sponsors. So if any of you run your own company or work at a company and want to talk to them about what we do and how they can get involved, then that would be brilliant. So how can you get involved in the Brighton Digital Women community? You can join our Facebook group, you can sign up for and attend our next event, which is actually sold out, so unless you've got a ticket you won't be able to, but we'll have one at the end of April as well. So the end of March event, we're holding a closing party for the Spring Forward Festival, which is a month-long celebration of women in digital that happens every March in Brighton. That's currently sold out, but we'll then have an event at the end of April, which will be, I think our theme is going to be all about spring resolutions and kind of planning for success over the summer. You can also write for our blog, so if anyone has any sort of stories about their experience as a woman in digital, like advice for pay negotiations or kind of any aspect of diversity in digital, We'd love you to write for us. Volunteering to speak at one of our events is always welcome. Telling your friends about us, asking your company to sponsor us, or sharing any roles that you have going at your company within our Facebook group. So yeah, that's us. Thank you very much for listening, and